All right, everyone, we are back from our quick break to get into the draft. Game number one between Divine Ascension Obsidian up against VBU, Neon, Kendo, and Mr. Moose at the mic desk or analyst desk, and you guys can already see these two teams are immediately going for the throat here on these bans. Obsidian taking away Fiddlesticks, Anivia, Mordekaiser, and Neon quickly taking away Vel'Koz, Tristana, and the Nocturne coming out of the banning phase.
Well, here's a bold strategy, Cotton, right off of the bat. Xin Zhao was another one that we talked about earlier on. Had a very difficult week one, a very uncharacteristic week number one, and that was a 17% win rate. Used 6 times on the Rift. Only one single win among those 6. And more often than not, when the Xin Zhao was taken, the counter pick was right there. Trundle coming in for VBU Neon.
Yep, the Frost Troll is here to stay, so that's going to be a ton of fun. Jungkook going to be up against KGB in the jungle. Both of those are all ready to go. Now, as always, Neon's going to get the second pick here, and it's going to be the support pick for Lo-Fi Cheese Mix. Going to be picking up the Nautilus, and I think that that's a great idea, picking up that support early on, allowing your draft to stay a little bit more dynamic, but understand that you're going to have a high initiation, high engage support tool ready to go immediately. Ooh. But at the other end of the Rift, Obsidian is hovering that Aurelia. Do they decide to go for it?
Aurelia's a really good flex pick. You could go top, you can go mid. Very versatile depending upon how you want to play her. And I really do appreciate the pick because it's a straightforward flex pick. You got one of those 2 lanes, pick which matchup works the best, and then send Aurelia there.
I think that the Aurelia is going to go to Ted Garcia playing in the top lane. He's been playing a lot of Aurelia recently. Braum going to be picked up for Corey JJ on the support role. I was looking at their OP.GGs, and I didn't see any Braum on Corey JJ, but I have seen a lot of games played, so I'm sure that he's pretty confident with it. And so, already a really strong front line and a really good late game brawler coming in for the Aurelia. And at the other end of the Rift, they're going to pick up the consistent and stable Sion in the top lane for BBU.
Yeah, I do like the Sion pick. I don't know if I like the matchup Sion versus Aurelia. I feel like Aurelia has a small advantage there, but at the same time, an Aurelia in the hands of a potato like myself could very easily fall to a Sion at any given moment. We go into the bans once again, second round. Shink's gonna come out, and I appreciate the projectiles being banned here, given the fact that Braum is lurking large on the DA as Obsidian side.
And that's a really strong engage tool as well. They've got the Glacial Fissure, a multi-man knockup could potentially be available if they do decide to go for something that wants to have that good, consistent kind of knockup CC that's available. But with the ADC role still available for Obsidian, going to be taking away some of Pony Goat's really high picks with the Ezreal, with the Jinx getting taken care of, and then the Seraphine and Victor going to be targeted on Merciful Crow, taking away that Seraphine. The Anivia we saw a little bit earlier taken away from Merciful Crow. That was one of her best champions that we've seen so far last week in terms of KDA and in terms of actually being able to perform well against Enigma. Ooh. We're gonna get the Kog'Maw though, potentially very interesting pickup here. I'm very excited to see what this Kog'Maw Nautilus is going to be able to do, what Obsidian decides to go for marksman-wise, and they're leaving their last pickup for Merciful Crow in the mid lane. They want to see who they're going up against.
Oh, and if that's a Ziggs to counter it, I love what we are seeing in the bot lane. If we're going to throw the Braum out there, how about we just chuck whatever we can over the shield and see what sticks? That is the process for both VBU Neon as well as DM Sissy. Corki?
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, yeah. That's what I love to see. Void has a really high play rate with Corki in the mid lane. Really strong, prominent, a lot of consistent damage, especially if they're able to get early on. Now, what does Merciful Crow decide to go with? The Ziggs, the Seraphine, and the Anivia are all taken. Maybe we see a Lux here. That's another comfort pick for Merciful Crow. We could see a different pick, and it's going to be the Orianna, more stable pick, a little bit more control in the mid lane. Going to have a lot of a ball delivery system available with potentially the Scion coming in, the Nautilus if he's able to land a hook, or an anchor, I should say, the Trundle if he just don't care and is able to find his way into the back line. But also already so far, I mean, both of these drafts look really fun. I like what both these players or what both these teams are trying to go for. Obsidian, I feel like, you know, there's a little bit more coordination with that. I can kind of see how the Aurelia, the Braum, the Ziggs are all going to really be able to play in with each other. The Aurelia gets a big Vanguard's Edge right into like 4 or 5 members, or if are like in a perfect world, all 5 members get caught in that little triangle of doom, and then Braum knocks them up into the Ziggs and Mega Inferno Bomb. But I mean, even then, you got the Xin Zhao. I mean, a really strong early game jungler that can really mess up Trundle in the jungle potentially if there's a good invade. But at the other end of the rift, I mean, once you get into the mid game and Kog'Maw, Orianna start to really pick up, the Scion gets a ton of health, it can be really difficult for Obsidian to really be able to just knock these champions down and get to that backline.
Yeah, and I get the feeling as we see everyone getting everything set up. My big stars of this entire game, I was looking through the stats, trying to figure out, okay, where are the battle lines? Where are we drawing the most important win conditions? Right off the bat, you do have in the jungle the Xin Zhao versus the Trundle. This has not gone well for Xin Zhao in week number 1. Granted, we're going to have KGB trying to turn around the fortunes. This being said, they're doing so against one of the highest pulling junglers within Excellency so far through that first week in BTS Jungkook. Jungkook put together the 4th highest gold pull in week number 1 through the 3 games played. So that's extremely interesting. That's going to be a big win condition. I also want to talk, though, about Para, because Para in the top lane sadly got gapped in all 3 matches that they went up. So it's going to have to be a paramount to make sure, one, that you're as a Scion not getting completely lost in the laning phase, especially against a very dangerous Aurelia pick.
Oh man, that was good, man. I liked that paramount right there, coming out with the 10-cent word right off the bat. But you know, you talked about Para 04. I think that brings up a great point about VBU Neon as a team. You know, we were talking about in the pre-show, Neon didn't really have an identity moving into week 1. They weren't really trying to figure, they weren't, you know, I think all on the same page from what Coley was talking about as their coach.
And it's just going to be so difficult.
Definitely felt like, you know, this week they were able to train up a little bit, but also keep in mind, 4 out of the 5 members of VBU Neon are in the top 20 for MVP at this point in the moment. They all played consistently well with each other. One player that I really want to talk about, Forgotten Turtle, had, I believe, what was it, the 2nd most damage per minute in the game. You know, Lo-Fi Cheese Mix had the rank 3 for most assists in the game, rank 4 for vision score. So they're competent players, and I think that they're a competent lineup. It's all going to boil down to how well they're going to be able to get to the mid game. If the early game works well for Obsidian, if they're able to get going, if this Ziggs Braum is able to get first blood, 2 kills, you get a very early Leandries or Ludens coming in for Pony Goat. If Corki ends up getting first blood against Merciful Crow and he ends up getting into the lead, I mean, any one of those champions getting into a large advantage early on could be a win condition for Obsidian. And so I think that's a little bit more of that flexibility that's coming into this game for DA that I don't think Neon has. Like, if Scion gets 18 kills, what is he going to do with them? Just add more health to himself? I mean, I don't know how much of a win condition he's going to be. Orianna getting 18 kills, on the other hand, definitely going to be a win condition. So I'm excited to see what Jungkook is going to be able to do in the jungle, especially in the early game, to keep this Kog'Maw from getting ganked, to keep this Orianna from getting ganked, and to have just a really good game in general for VBU.
Yeah, and you and I are focusing on precisely the same thing, because it's going to be up to Jungkook to lock down KGB early and often, because you do seem to, with the composition, have a little bit of advantage in the mid to late game. That being said, if, as you said, one little thing ends up running away, whether it be the Ziggs in the bot lane or the Corki in the mid lane, maybe even the Aurelia for Ted Garcia, you could very easily see DA Obsidian snowball through the mid game and be an unstoppable force in the first 25 minutes.
And we're going to be getting into that. We're going to find out if they will be that unstoppable force here in just a moment. So go use the restroom real quick. Go get that drink. Go get those snacks and come back within the next 2 minutes. We've got game number 1, Light League action coming up between DA Obsidian and VBU Neon. Come back in just a moment. We'll be right here. Right, everybody, we are back, we are live, and we are ready for game number 1, XLNC Light League. DAO up against VBU. Oh man, Kendo, it was a really interesting draft. I think both these teams got a lot of potential to have a really good game, and I'm excited to see who's going to come out on top and take first blood here, hopefully fairly soon, as we get into this match.
Oh, my friend, this is where I am hoping to shine forth. As I said, I want to bring a new perspective to Light League. I am by no means someone who is very good at the game, but I follow the game enough to really enjoy some of the aspects. You might say I will be the Trundle in the booth, because we may troll just a little bit. The sad thing for me right now, though, no cheese. Neither one of these teams really having too much of a push into each other's areas. You know what? I can respect it with the Trundle dancing up on mid lane.
You know, the only real shenanigans that we got was the ward being dropped up at the red buff, but a good use of Jungkook's Oracle Lens, going to be able to take that away. That vision's not going to be there. He's going to start red buff anyways, but it's very interesting to see both top side pickups here for the Xin Zhao and the Trundle. Trundle going to immediately go over to his bot side, actually, not even going to go for his Raptors or his Krugs. So he's going to have a very quick transition down into the bottom lane. That could potentially go in for a gank, potentially. We will see if that works out to be the case. Anything else interesting-wise? I mean, runes all look pretty consistent. The only thing, though,
Xin Zhao on the mid.
Yeah.
Xin Zhao looking for the early gank by the look. Sion hard committed in. This may be the first blood, and we are going to get it.
That is first blood. Nicely done. The flash being used already, and no way to get out of that one. Nicely done coming through from Ted Garcia and KGB. Picking up first blood, and on top of that, the first teleport of the game as well. That's so crucial. But now looking at the bottom lane, we got the Pillar of Frost going to be landing onto the Braum, trying to be able to get away from this one. He is going to land the Q onto the Kog'Maw, but he's going to flash away, and he'll be just fine. No, he won't. Nicely done from the Ziggs. Going to be able to make it a 1 or a 2-for-1 in the bottom lane.
So we'll take the exchanges. They break even on everything, but right off the bat, we see KGB trying to open things up for Ted Garcia. I think that DA Obsidian know exactly what they have to do. We have to get somebody ahead. We have to get them fast, and Para is someone who can be exploited.
And it was exploited immediately. You know, he does have that Grasp of the Undying, but now no longer as summoner spells. They could potentially go in for another gank. And on top of that, Ted Garcia didn't even have to use teleport to get back to lane. He is even in CS, but he's going to be, I think, in a pretty good position. Moving up, he has those 2 extra daggers. So, I mean, not the best back. As we get a little bit of action in the bottom lane. A couple of assist pings as the Kog'Maw looks like Forgotten Turtle trying to go up against Pony Goat, but now he's going to be caught out all on his own. He's gonna get hit by the Q, and the satchel charge gonna land. There's one for Ponygoat.
Oh my, it's already very quickly devolving for VBU Neon, and that all starts with the Trundle. The Trundle being caught out a little bit too long in the river, gets pushed up, and they are able to catch out a level 2 Kog'Maw. The amount of CS difference right now is going to put the bot lane at a significant disadvantage.
Big CS difference indeed, 20-8. First back already for Ponygoat, who does have teleport, so he was able to pick up that Tear of the Goddess along with that Doran's Ring, so just a little bit more laning advantages coming through. Para 04 actually going to be pushed out of lane again, pushing the lane forward, and will be able to walk back, but is not level 6. Can't choo-choo his way into the train station. That is his outer turret, with Unstoppable Onslaught no longer active at the moment. But with this lane pushed up in the bottom lane for Forgotten Turtle and Cheese Mix, they've got to be able to get that CS taken care of. I mean, Turtle did decent CSing there, gets it to within 9, but are they going to be able to continue to keep that up, though? I mean, Ziggs is such an easy CSer, I feel like, once he's able to get going, but does look like we might be seeing another gank coming in from KGB. Mountain Drake is on the board, but for the time being, the lane is kind of pushed up, so maybe not looking to go for a gank, but maybe for a dragon.
This is exactly where you want to keep the lane if you're VBU Neon. You want to try to make sure that you allow the lane to push in. Yes, you are going to be down a little bit on the CS, and Kog'Maw being a level down in the bot lane will be desperate times. So as long as you can freeze that lane possible, do your best. Just farm, try to CS, and leave the lane in a gankable position. That way you can get the assist from Jungkook if possible.
Right, looking at the mid lane, Merciful Crow doesn't have a lot of mana, does have that phase rust necessary if he needs to be able to use it effectively. Also does have Shockwave ready to go. We did get a back coming in from Ponygoat and Trubaga, from True Tabaga. I don't know why I said it like that, but regardless, they're going to be able to get back first. They're going to be able to pick up a couple of extra amplifying tomes, a couple of extra control wards. That's 3 control wards in the bottom lane. Nicely done. I liked being able to get that back. It does mean you have that little bit of an item advantage. That AP advantage is going to give you a little bit more priority in the lane moving forward, something that Forgotten Turtle and Cheese Mix don't necessarily have. I mean, when you've only got a no magic mantle and a dagger, you're not really doing a lot of damage as the Kog'Maw in the early game at the moment.
Yeah.
And so they're just going to push up the lane, and they're going to be able to assist KGB, who's already at the dragon. This should go to Obsidian here early on. Mountain Drake is theirs.
And I would give that to them at that point. You know that they're over there. Push the lane, but not too far. If you can get it all the way in, that's worth pushing. That being said, you know they're coming. It's all 3 members down from the dragon, gonna push them off the wave. And it looks to be to no avail. Xinjiao and Korki will meet in the mid. Looking at the CSs, and I am noticing a small disparity between the Xinjiao and the Trundle right now. I'm going to be watching the pathing, going to be watching the laning as Jungkook is here, waiting for a potential top lane gang.
Yep, not a lot of mana up here for Ted Garcia. He is playing on the Razor's Edge, does have Vanguard's Edge ready, but doesn't have mana to use it. The Unstoppable Onslaught right into the Pillar of Ice. He's going to have to use Flash to try to get away from anything, but no, the teeth are too big for Jungkook as he picks up a kill and evens out the gold for both teams.
And Turtle's gonna get away from what was a combative spectator mode that we got right there. No, both battles going on at the same time. Spectator mode decided to give us, hey, you know, this top lane one, it's already done. The bot lane is a little more interesting, and somehow Forgotten Turtle will manage to not have to use the passive a little earlier than they'd like.
All right, Jungkook gonna pick up the Subjugate on to KGB. It's gonna be the Rift Herald as the prize for KGB as he picks up the Smite. We're gonna get a nice Corki being able to try to get what he can. It is gonna be the Xin Zhao going down. No one's picked up the Rift Herald just yet, and it will go to the Corki. However, the Aurelia is gonna pick up a kill onto the Oriana and onto the Trundle. A double kill for Ted Garcia, and on top of that, Void on the Corki. 1-0-2 is gonna pick up the Eye of the Herald to use in the mid lane.
My goodness, and this might actually get immediately used in the mid lane. Gonna try to kill the wave down. I really love what we saw, though, out of the team play. Everyone gathering. It's been fast and furious action between these two teams. 10 kills in under 10 minutes. 11 to be exact at 9.5. So if we continue to see this, I like the pace for some fireworks.
Right now, though, the gold, not really too much of an advantage for Ted Garcia, despite getting the double kill. Only 100 gold in the lead with the CS advantage being there for Para04. The big gold advantage right now is in the mid lane. Merciful Crow, she is behind against Void by about 600 gold. And on top of that, we do have, you know, the package, which could potentially be a huge team fighting initiation tool if they do decide to go, if Winnie does get it eventually. But the big part about that is he does still have the Eye of the Herald. That's going to be an extra potentially 300 to 600 gold in his pocket that hasn't been used yet. But take a look at the bottom lane. We do have a Glacial Fissure. Not going to get the knockup, but it is going to get the slow onto Cheese Mix. He does have Flash trying to get away from this one, but the Satchel Charge able to get him out of the position, and he will try to get away. He does get away, but he anchors himself in the heroic sacrifice to get Forgotten Turtle a kill onto the Braum. We are going to be seeing the Crescent Guard to try to get the kill onto the Kog'Maw. No! It's a double kill for Forgotten Turtle, but now Void is looking to finish the job. It's a triple kill for Forgotten Turtle as Void ends up picking up one. Kog'Maw will die, but he reaps the rewards.
Well played by Forgotten Turtle, living on a prayer throughout the end of that. You're still going to see Ziggs trying to manifest some plates out of it. So as far as the give and take, it seems like it'll be just about even because there's another wave crashing in that Ziggs may get a little greedy here. It looks like they're going to walk it away.
Yeah, gonna walk away indeed. I mean, now Forgotten Turtle has really been able to ramp up here in at the 11.5 minute mark. 4-3-1, 300 gold bounty. Already has his first item in the Wit's End, and that is such a pickup, especially when you're up against a Ziggs in the bottom lane. Gonna be able to get that magic resistance along with the attack speed that you just oh so want. So a really nice pickup there for Forgotten Turtle. Eye of the Herald is still available, but it does look like Forgotten Turtle is going to be forgotten here in the bottom lane. Will end up getting shut down immediately. KGB going to pick up a nice hefty 600 gold, and that might actually be first turret as well.
Yeah, it very well could be with all four down there. It doesn't look like they're going to fall. Yep, they are going to be moving on and using the Herald. Definitely first turret in the bot lane. Going to open up quite a bit of pressure for DA Obsidian, and they need to utilize it. That being said, VBU Neon have done a good job of making sure that they are counting. Really? Trundle? What? Living on a prayer again.
I can't believe it. Meanwhile, though, I mean, the Rift Herald was used effectively. They did get the dragon. It is an Ocean Soul here in game number 1, but the turret is still alive. Like you said, living on a prayer. But unfortunately, we've got potentially one of the best turret breakers in the game. There it goes. Glacial Fissure is going to land on Forgotten Turtle. He does have Flash trying to be able to get away. If Bouncing Bomb will not connect, Braum trying to be able to get the slow, won't be able to connect it. And now trying to be able to escape. Trundle is in the area. What can Cheese Mix and the rest of VBU Neon do? Ziggs is rooted. It's going to be KGB getting the kill on Forgotten Turtle, but it's going to be Subjugate getting used by Jungkook. It will be the kill from beyond the grave for Forgotten Turtle on 2. I believe that was on to Ponygo, but regardless, it is a 2-for-1 in favor of VBU.
They haven't been winning as many fights as they'd like, but they have been salvaging what they can in the process. And that, an entire team effort by VBU Neon, will keep them in this match early game as we are slowly but surely moving beyond the laning phase. I know those plates just about to fall. The bot lane working to get as many of them as they possibly can, and will settle for 3. Trundle getting a little bit greedy right now.
Oh, I would do it too. He's gonna go for it. Is he getting it?
Oh!
No. Nope. Nope. The cake is a lie. The dream isn't there. Now Trundle with no mana is gonna have to run away. Para 04 did use his teleport. Sion not going to have that to be able to get back into the top lane, which does mean Ted Garcia gets a ton of gold off of that as well. The gold advantage is now about 400 for the Aurelia, and the longer that this game goes on, the more powerful that the Aurelia can be. But looking at items across the Rift, it looks like everyone has picked up at least something. But, I mean, the items are looking really good right now for Obsidian as they look to try to get Forgotten Turtle caught out again. Nope, he's going to be able to get away, but that Leandri's Torment is available for Pony Goat. We got the Immortal Shield Bow, the Gore Drinker, available for Void and KGB. And on top of that, Login of the Iron Solari for a True Chabaga. 0, 2, and 5 right now. Little bit of damage again onto Forgotten Turtle, but he will be able to survive. So that's something that we got to take in mind here. A ton of mythical items ready to go for Obsidian at this point, and only one at the moment for Neon.
And the other portion of that I am noticing on the Ori, we have the Dark Seal. Throw that in there to the mix because in all honesty, I'm not sure Dark Seal's the right move. Yes, it is something that you want to do if you know you're snowballing. Right now, VBU Neon have not been snowballing. They are the ones on the cusp of potentially falling down. And you could be the Mufasa to the DA Obsidian Scar, and that might not go very well for you.
Long live the king, and right now the king of the Rift, gold-wise, is actually going to be Void. Oh my goodness. The gold difference between Void and Merciful Crow at about 2,000 at this point. That is massive right now. So really, really good play. I mean, the richest woman on the Rift is going to be Ted Garcia on the Aurelia, but I'm so scared. Oh, top lane. Didn't even see that. Ted Garcia, maybe feeling a little bit too rich, ends up going down, and that's going to be turret number 1 here for VBU Neon.
And they needed it desperately. It's going to even things out once again, but I want to go back to that gold lead for the Corki against the Orianna. Not necessarily a CS lead, but when your gold lead is over 50% of your team's total lead, that's impressive. So we got to give it to the Corki and Void.
And I mean, that's all because he was able to get that Rift Herald. He was able to get first turret. I didn't get first turret gold, but he did get several turret plates with the Herald, which is that extra gold influx that he got. He's going to be working on, I'm assuming, his Muramana or Manamune into that Muramana in just a moment. Did pick up that Tear of the Goddess a little bit late. But Forgotten Turtle gonna get hit by that satchel charge into the waiting arms of KGB as he stings his way into another kill. Forgotten Turtle just says, I'm not even gonna be able to get that kill. I'll just run away and explode under my tower. That's another kill caught out of line here for Forgotten Turtle.
And multiple times being caught out, and this is slowly but surely becoming a problem for Forgotten Turtle. The positioning multiple times has come into play, and if you become gankable, you're letting the Xin Zhao back in. Xin Zhao kind of having the same storyline that we see in the mid lane versus the Trundle. The Trundle's been a little bit more effective. However, they are getting the objectives. They are getting and salvaging where they can, and what more can you ask for? We got a close one. That being said, not in the Dragon count.
Not in the Dragon count, not in the neutral objective account at all. I mean, all 5 objectives pre-20 minutes going towards DA Obsidian. That's all 3 dragons and both Rift Heralds coming through. There is 1 outer tower on his last leg. Hobbling saying, I will defend till my last breath in the top lane for VBU Neon, but they are being pushed back. You can kind of see the warding coming through as well from DA Obsidian. They've got some deep wards where in the river they can see potentially where the Trundle, where the Kog'Maw might be. So good warning coming through from DA Obsidian. They're picking up jungle camps as well. They just picked up those raptors. So, I mean, they're putting in the pressure here. They're using the early game advantages that they were able to build. And now, 3,000 gold in the lead. It's a really good position right now for DA Obsidian.
The vision there, saving Para on the back end of that play. They are going to get a tower here in the lower lane. Merciful Crow may pay for it, though. Has a long lane to run all the way back. Does manage to get away, utilizing that. Oh my, still dangerous as it is a 3v4 potentially with the Corki also there in the bottom lane. However, they will get out.
Yeah, but that was a really expensive turret though from Merciful Crow. Not only do they lose the ultimate from Merciful Crow, but they also lose 2 flashes, one on the Orianna and one on the Trundle. Definitely want to keep that in mind with Baron spawning in 12 seconds. That is a huge playmaking tool that's not going to be available for VBU Neon moving into another crucial point in this contest. And you got to see, maybe there's a domino effect of that leading there. Without that flash, there's really no way for Jungkook to be able to get to that back line. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out. This next team fight could potentially decide the game. Yeah. Maybe if they do decide to go for a Baron play afterwards. But I mean, 224 remaining. They've got to worry about dragons as well. I mean, now Soul Point. Everything's looking really good right now for DA Obsidian as they do potentially catch out Jungkook. He is going to be able to get away. A nice Glacial Fissure, though, but the nice knockup coming in from Para04. He's now going to be the target. Unstoppable Onslaught's going to land into a nice 3-man knockup. Does he get away from this one, though? He slows, he runs, he has the health, he has some assistance now from the Nautilus. Vanguard Judge is going to land, he's going to get one more knockup, he's still alive, but he did everything that he could as the Subjugate lands onto the Xin Zhao. It will be Kung Fu getting the kill on it to the Braum, and now the Aurelia dies as well. That's 3 kills for BBU Neon, moving into a potential Baron play here at the 21-minute mark.
And at this point, you have to get the Baron. This is a must. This is a need. For VBU Neon, they need to take advantage of what was DA Obsidian overcommitting for the Scion. I wanted to be very critical of the fact we did not see the pillar come in to try to break that up, but I think that VBU Neon and Jungkook knew what they were doing. They were trying to bait that in, and it was very successful. Now, the Baron. It's a 4v2, and oh no! Merciful Crow goes down!
No one gets the Baron. A huge Mega Inferno Bomb coming through as the teleports come through from Ted Garcia. Pony Goat also has teleport, but he didn't have to use it. We're getting a very risky back coming in from Jungkook and from the Kog'Maw. Forgotten Turtle. They're going to have to run away from that one. Forgotten Turtle is able to get away with neither team getting the Baron. Disastrous for BBU Neon. They needed that objective like you said, Kendo. And now, with 30 seconds remaining, Obsidian's in prime position to go for this dragon and get an Ocean Soul at 23 minutes.
You needed the Baron. You needed to transpose your pressure right back over to the dragon. Otherwise, you were going to immediately lose soul. And now you're playing from behind despite not looking that way on the scoreboard. Yes, you have the 14 kills, but at what cost? That dragon will go down very quickly. Not everyone's there. It's a 4v5.
Cheese Mix gonna have to flash away, gonna be just fine for the time being, but now the dragon's gonna be initiated by Obsidian. They're getting it down to 45, 41. Trundle is now in the area to potentially go for a filler cross into the snipe steal. No, he doesn't get it. The shockwave is gonna land on a 3, but it's not gonna be enough to get any kills just yet. Vanguard's Edge onto the Trundle. Subjugate is there, but the Aurelia with the double kill. Korg is gonna get a kill onto Forgotten Turtle, and it's gonna be Void trying to be able to get another one. It's Pony Goat picking up the double kill, the ace for DA Obsidian. Everything working out for Obsidian here at the 24-minute mark. Not only do they get the Ocean Soul, but now they are racing towards the Baron.
I wish I could say that that was a, oh, it's okay, give them soul, maybe counter Baron, but no, that was a situation where you had to force, that was a situation where you had to go in, and at this point, DA Obsidian with the Baron, with the Ocean Soul, will have prime perspective over their opponents and a chance to really set up some wards in the red side of the Rift. Oh, that hurts so much, Moose.
Oh man, Ocean Dragon, it is such a big soul for Obsidian. Not only do they get the health regen, but also mana regen. Moving throughout after they hit an enemy, so they're just gonna be so difficult to kill in these extended fights. When you've got 3 frontliners in the Scion, in the Trundle, and with Forgotten Turtle building this AD page, getting that extra health resistance is just gonna make it so hard for Merciful Crow and for Turtle to be able to get those kills. And this is huge for DA Obsidian. They've got the Baron as well for another 2 minutes. Mega Inferno Bomb's going to get used in the mid lane to kind of clear everything out as another turret goes down to the Siege Man himself. Oh, not quite yet, but will be eventually. As we take a look at the gold lead, 7,000 gold in the lead right now, Kendo. I mean, this is a really rough position for VBU Neon to be in. They really fell short at that Baron play, and now they are playing from behind in a huge deficit if they want to be able to win this one.
At this point, you need a miracle. And I'm just going to be straightforward with you, Moose. Every single lane, including the jungler, now being behind. And Jungkook is not a jungler who very easily goes down. Again, this is the 4th best gold puller, one of the best farmers within the light league. And that's a Trundle that we're looking at. You know, yeah. Pummel things with club very quickly and make yourself extremely big and unbeatable. They don't even have that at this point. The Scion being the highest level, Forgotten Turtle kind of falling off of where we saw them earlier on in the game. That needs to be a pick. It needs to be something. And if you're DA Obsidian, you're doing exactly what you need to do. Keep everyone together.
Nicely done with that shockwave. The Scion's gonna have the back flank, but is it gonna be enough? He just kind of flashes to try to run away and will be able to barely survive using the Anathema's chains to be able to get that little bit of damage resistance, but Cheese Mix goes down, the inhibitor goes down. It's gonna be potentially the game-ending push here as Jungkook gets completely diced away. There's Aurelia 5-4 and 5, gonna get the stun, will have the Sterox, or will have the Immortal Shield though to get the shield, will be able to stay alive. Nice knock-up onto the Braum who goes down, Trivago will die. Frontline is not there, the stun trying to be able to get anyone on a Pony Goat, not quite yet. Kog'Maw going to stay alive as he gets back into the fountain. There might be a chance that VBU Neon is able to keep this game alive for a little while longer, and they do. Kendo, they survive the first siege. They're able to stay alive, but how long do they keep this up?
My only solace here is the fact that they do still have the 1 turret on the Nexus, so you do have some small semblance of a defense, but you are gravely wounded if you're VBU Neon. And what I wanted to say before I got so brutally interrupted by the battle was, if you're DA Obsidian, you just want to wait. You want VBU Neon to force the issue, keep everyone together, keep the entire 5, just go ARAM towards the mid, and let VBU Neon come to you, punish whatever they do in mistake. Now, DA Obsidian can do the exact same thing, knowing that they have all the pressure, they have the 2 of the inhibitors, and they could most likely get whatever's next, whether it be the Elder here in a minute or in 2 minutes, another Baron.
I mean, they've got one final lane to push, and that is the bottom lane. There are 2 towers to go. 2 teleports are online right now for Void and Ted Garcia. Here for DA Obsidian, Merciful Crow, and Para04 both have their teleports as well. With Elder Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, that might be the objective, but watch out for that ward actually in the base of VBU Neon. They could potentially go for a teleport play here, but it does look like they are going for the fight in the river. The Pillar of Claws is going to land onto the Braum. The knockup from the Scion is going to land onto the Ziggs, and the knockup from the Ensemble Onslaught's going to be there as well. A huge Valkyrie going to split everyone up. Void with the plays as he gets the kill on Forgotten Turtle. There's going to be the slow from the Valkyrie. The package has arrived, and it is a big Christmas wish. A huge win for DA Obsidian as they take game 1 off of that fight.
My goodness, and the Winions could have actually pulled this one off at the very end after the team fight. My personal favorite, you see the Xin Zhao going in on the backline. It wasn't just the Valkyrie that did it. Xin Zhao finding access to the backline through both walls and managing to make sure that no one on VBU Neon was safe. This was a brilliant display of gamesmanship at the end, and DA Obsidian are going to win game number 1 in really a convincing fashion.
There was a huge win for them, and I mean, I'm going to disagree with you, Kendo. I feel like there was definitely still a chance. I mean, moving into the 22 minute mark, for VBU Neon to still come back. At that point, yes, DA Obsidian had the 3 dragons. Yes, they had those 5 big objectives in the neutral objectives, sub 20 minutes that were theirs, but they were only in the lead by about 3,000 gold. They only had, you know, like, I believe it was like 1 or 2 turrets in the advantage at that point. And so there was definitely a chance for VBU Neon to take this game back. The main issue that we had was the misplay at the Baron. I mean, shout out to Ponygoat. Really great use of the Mega Inferno Bomb. A little bit of a misplay coming in from Merciful Crow. Actually tries to back in the Baron pit, and Baron just says, okay, you're my only target now. I might as well just kill you at this point, and ends up going down. Denies the Baron. Crow's not there for the fight. And at that point, you know, that was when they got the Ocean Soul. Then they were able to get that big fight at the Dragon Pit into Baron, and at that point, the game was indeed over. But this game before that point, I felt like could have still gone either way. There were still potential conditions that VBU Neon were able to come back from. They just didn't pull it off, and it's Obsidian that is able to take the win.
I agree with you, but I'm going to only say that to a point, because I do feel like those little leads that were built up over time by Divine Ascension, starting at the very beginning, the level 2 gank by the Xin Zhao to bring things forward. You already had an Aurelia that was going to be on top of the Scion from basically number 1. Basically from the very first kill. So that was what you needed to do if you were the Xin Zhao. Unlock someone that you could work around immediately, because you had been getting dumpstered traditionally by Trundle throughout week number 1. Now, redemption, and KGB, the one to bring you there.
And he did. He brought it there. I mean, some really good early game ganks. I think, you know, Jungkook played really well in the jungle as well. But shout out again to Void. You know, 202 CS, 12,000 gold. Doesn't really seem like a lot, but he really took off in the mid game. Was able to get that Rift Herald and really had, you know, some really good damage. 5-1 and 7. A really strong KDA for him. I just feel like the composition just didn't play out correctly here for VBU Neon. There was never a point where they felt like they were in control. The early game went into DA Obsidian's favor. That is what they needed to do. And once they got into the mid game, they were in a decent position enough to be able to give themselves the advantages that they needed to give the win. I'll concede, you know, you said something really good. I mean, those little micro wins in the early game, that DA Obsidian were able to getting those neutral objectives, getting those kills across the rift. Void being able to pick up those kills early on was really good. Ponygoat even having a good game as well, 7, 2, and 8. Everything working out really well for DA Obsidian in game 1, but this is a 3-game block here today, Kendo. We've got 2 more games left to play here in the Light League, but before we do, we're going to take a little break. We're going to be right back for game number 2 in just a moment, so stay tuned.